Jack Phillips says he's not just a baker, he's an artist.
Part of it is icing piping, part of it is paintbrush, part of it is airbrush, create the leaves and the flowers.
His canvas, cakes like these.
We paint on cakes, we sculpt cakes, we sketch cakes, to design what we're gonna do.
Deeply religious, Phillips says his Christian faith guides everything in his life.
This one is a verse out of 1 Corinthians, stand firm, be strong and immovable, always work enthusiastically for the Lord.
Including his refusal to bake a wedding cake for a gay couple.
That cake is that strong of a message in our culture. And marriage in general, between a man and a woman, across all cultures, religions, is an inherently religious event.
That faith part of an epic legal clash between religious liberty and gay rights, all of which began when Charlie Craig and Dave Mullins walked into Masterpiece Cake Shop in 2012.
Like any couple, Charlie and I were really excited to be getting married.
Same-sex marriage was still not legal in Colorado, so the couple was planning to get married in Massachusetts, followed by a reception back home near Denver.
And on this particular day, when we were going to sample wedding cakes...
And when David and Charlie came in, we introduced ourselves. What can I do for you? We're here to look at wedding cakes. It's for our wedding.
It was a really special day because Charlie's mom was in town. She does not live in Denver, so she was particularly excited.
So I realized right then that this is not a cake that I'm going to be able to design and create for them. So I tried to apologize to them, say, I'll sell you cookies, brownies, birthday cakes, anything else in my store.
But we weren't in there for brownies for my birthday. We were in there because we needed a cake to serve at our reception.
And at which point they both jumped up, swore at me, stormed out of my shop.
Charlie had a binder full of ideas and concepts. But we never even got a chance to open the binder.
You don't see it as an act of discrimination?
I see it as an act of following my faith. It's not just a cake. It's an iconic symbol of a wedding. This is a religious ceremony that goes in direct conflict with my faith.
When I realized exactly what had happened in the car, I broke down and started crying.
That one encounter at this unassuming cake shop in Lakewood, Colorado,
Just your legal fees.
propelled both the cake baker and the couple into the center of a scorching national debate. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. That went all the way to the highest court in the land. And today, in a 7-2 decision, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the baker.
It's good for Jack. It's good for businesses who want to run their businesses according to their convictions, whether they're Christians, Muslims, Jews, secular. Whatever the case might be, I think it's good for that.
And celebrations erupted outside Phillips' store.
Just a great day to have cake.
I'm very excited.
Craig and Mullins say they were blindsided by the decision.
The first emotions were just shock and disappointment.
The bakery may have won the battle, but it has certainly lost the war. And the court really recognized today the deep harms of discrimination, and those harms apply equally when it comes to LGBT people.
We were in Colorado just last week, only days before today's far-reaching decision. For Mullins and Craig, even over 5 years later, that brief interaction still stings.
I was mortified. Neither one of us had ever been treated this way before at a business.
Dejected and furious, the couple posted about their experience on Facebook.
We wrote just a small, modest post that said, hey, we were discriminated against this cake shop.
Their post went viral.
We received this outpouring of support from people literally around the world.
Encouraged by the public response, the couple filed a complaint with the Colorado Civil Rights Commission. Colorado is one of 21 states that prohibits discrimination based on sexual orientation. Colorado's Civil Rights Commission ruled in favor of the couple, describing the baker's refusal based on his religious beliefs as one of the most despicable pieces of rhetoric. That decision was upheld by the Colorado Court of Appeals.
It made us feel like we were valued members of our community.
It's not about hate. This is about not creating a message and a government forcing me to.
Because people have called you a bigot.
I'm not. I serve everybody who comes in my store. I just don't create cakes, every cake that people ask me to create.
As part of the ruling, the commission ordered Phillips to retrain his employees and serve everyone wedding cakes regardless of sexual orientation. So he stopped making wedding cakes altogether.
And here is a sample of the brownie.
His refusal, he says, cost him 40% of his business, and worse.
We've had death threats, we've had emails, phone calls. Our life's been turned upside down.
Aided by the Alliance Defending Freedom, a Christian advocacy organization, Phillips petitioned the Supreme Court to take his case.
What we were asking the court to look at is creative professionals, should they be forced to violate the First Amendment, our deeply held religious beliefs, to create art that violates those beliefs? Which is more important?
Saying the state of Colorado violated his First Amendment rights of freedom of religion and speech.
And there's the slippery slope of, does this chip away at other artisans, whether it's a jeweler or a makeup artist or others who would then have the ability to essentially boycott gay marriages?
Well, I think that the Supreme Court is looking at all that. Those were good questions that they asked. In my case, however, that's not an issue. What I do, I paint on cakes, I sculpt cakes. It's clearly art. It's clearly protected.
This isn't about a cake. It's about the right of people to receive equal service at a place of business that anyone else would.
The news that the court would take up the case was a shock to everyone involved, the weight of both movements sitting squarely on their shoulders.
I know it's hard to predict how you will feel, but if it came down in your favor, how would you react?
I would be probably overjoyed.
Couldn't you create a generic wedding cake that would be available for anybody who walked in and then customized for certain people? Or is that against the...
That would be sidestepping the issue. That's still the government forcing me to create cakes for ceremonies that go against my faith.
I think sadness and fear over what the future will look like for people based on this precedent.
So this was a 7-2 decision, but there was actually a lot of disagreement, even among the justices who agreed with the outcome in the case. Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote the opinion for the court. The only dissenting justices were Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Sonia Sotomayor.
Today's ruling, a narrow victory for religious rights advocates. At least 4 justices affirming gay rights, but ruling in favor of the baker because, ironically, they say it was he who faced anti-religious bias, calling out the Colorado Commission's language as disrespectful and hostile towards his sincere religious beliefs.
I think it's hard to know, just reading the opinion, what it's going to mean kind of on the ground in practice. Coming out of this, I think we know that it's important for state officials to approach these kinds of disputes respectful of the claims on all sides.
LGBTQ groups, including GLAAD, worry this ruling could open the floodgates for bigotry. We must love and support one another, hiding behind religious exemptions.
You're well aware that historically, businesses have used religious exemptions to deny service to African Americans at hotels or restaurants, or...
I can't answer for that. All I can say is that that's not my belief at all.
There's no question that opponents of LGBT equality will and already have seized on today's opinion as standing for far more than it does. This case was never about cakes, and we know our opposition won't stop.
At the cake shop today, the mood was celebratory. But Dave Mullins and Charlie Craig say the fight for equal rights is far from over.
The struggle is real, and, civil rights aren't gained overnight. And, we hope that we've raised awareness, not just in Colorado, but across the country, of how this form of discrimination affects LGBT people across the country every day.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.